残酷な天使のように少年よ神話になる。
Hello and welcome to the 50th lads video. I guess it's not like the 50th in any particular series, but just when you add up all our videos, this is the 50th video released. And joining me for it is not any of our regular hosts. They're all too busy. We have a special guest for episode number 50, and that is good buddy, friend of the channel, Gaelen.
Hello. I'm also too busy to do this, but you sounded sad, so here I am.
It's true. I was crying, getting ready to record it by myself, and then Galen swooped out of the sky in like a cape and tights, and was like, "I'm here for you,
Everything was
baby."
visible.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
looked like he had like one of those rolls of pennies. Anyways, we're here to talk about Neon Genesis Evangelion, one of the most like popular, divisive, weird, interesting anime ever made.
Yeah, it was weird. It started off like without giving it away anything, right? Because we're gonna talk about everything. But
Chronologically, yeah.
it started off so normal. I was like, oh, this is cool. There's like a lead kid. It's like every anime. There's all these girls that are weirdly, he's got a weird thing going with them. And then stuff just went south. Like, just whoa. Everything changed.
Yeah, like starts out feeling like Power Ranger or something, but then like, I mean, right off the bat, there's like weird underlying things, but it goes off the rails.
Yeah, like, I don't know. In a lot of animes, there's like, say, the main character's like grandfather doesn't approve of him becoming a swordsman, and then it just never builds off that. You never find out why the grandpa disagrees. You never even see the grandpa again, and I thought that's what it was gonna be for our main character, but it wasn't. Everything tied back, and it was awful. I hated it.
See, that's what's so interesting about Ava. I feel like a lot of people like going into it would expect Shinji to like grow into like a Chad and like a badass pilot and stuff. And I personally like enjoy that is not what happened here because it's like such a unique thing.
Like, I don't know. I don't like it for the novelty of it being unique. I genuinely don't think I did like it. I liked the show, but I just didn't like how Shinji never grew at all. In fact, it almost seemed like he was hurt by all of these experiences. There was no training montage, there was no improvement. There was just Shinji got sadder than he already was at the start.
Yeah. It's a very unique thing. Yeah. Well, let's just get started. Yeah. So also, I should make it clear this was my like third time watching all of Evangelion, I think, and Galen went in totally blind, which just is interesting. It was very fun to watch him experience it.
It's the
Um,
shock.
but yeah, what were like your first impressions of our main character?
Shinji. Let's see. Well, he was so excited to hear from his dad, and it was evident that like his dad hadn't talked to him in a while. I correct me if I'm wrong, but I think we see him first at a boarding school, right?
We see him first at like a phone, but I think he's leaving
That's
because he's like
yeah,
waiting to get picked up by Misato when we first see.
yeah. So like, what I was assuming was he was like shipped off somewhere else to essentially just not bother his dad, basically. Um, so right off the bat, you can tell he's got some baggage coming with him. And then when he meets his dad or whatever, or I don't even know, didn't he like call his dad at one point after getting there because he was like worried about something, and his dad said, "Talk to Miss Misato. I don't bother me with this."
Yeah, yeah. He his I think that's way later on, but yeah, his dad just really even he like has a purpose for him now, but he kind of wants nothing to like.
Yeah, like it was a chore to bring him. And Shinji, I guess I know those were a lot of tangents, but first impression of Shinji is he's like a weak guy, he's not confident, basically just all of us in middle school.
Yeah, yeah, that's fair. He's yeah.
Very uncomfortable with who he is. What about what like I guess this was your third impression, but what was your, if you can remember, first impression of Shinji?
I don't know. He is like you said, he's very relatable for like when you think back to like that period in your life. Like obviously now you and I are like epitomes of manliness, but like
Chad McStuffins. That's what we
basically
are.
like we're Gail and I have to record from different places because our muscles are so big we wouldn't both fit in the same room. But like you said, he makes you think back to like when you're in like yeah late middle school, early high school, and you're just like uncomfortable with everything and like just very unsure and anxious and stuff, and it's portrayed in a way you don't normally see like depression portrayed in anime. Normally it would either be like the character has no doubts at all, or he's like, you know, colored with like a rain cloud over his head, going like, I am nothing but an ant and wish death upon myself in like an over the top comedic way, you know?
Yeah, and it'd be a funny quirk. But with Shinji, it was like actually uncomfortable.
It yeah, it's like too real.
Like initially, I mean later on it gets really uncomfortable, but initially I didn't see the relation. It wasn't until later and I thought about it, I was like, "Oh, that's a terrible thought. I used to be that little goblin."
Yeah, yeah.
So, so yeah, that's Shinji for you.
And then yeah, the character like as we were talking about before we started recording, like the show is totally like it has a very interesting plot that's like fun to watch unfold, but really you're watching for the characters and like how they interact and stuff. And so we go on to really our like we'll talk about other characters that get introduced later, but really our first like connection from Shinji is like Misato, who's like his really his only like parental figure throughout this series.
Yeah, and I'm not I'm not sure how good of a job she did really of that. You know what I mean?
Oh, she was in no way equipped to raise a child because she's not like that not that old either. I think she's like 25 or something. I don't think she's older than 30 at least or
Yeah.
around there. And she's had a really traumatic life. Like we can skip around a little bit and just give her backstory because her I guess we can't bore with
Wasn't
it.
I was gonna say, wasn't the backstory from the movie too, and that's not what we're talking about.
Uh,
We
I
like
mean,
that scene,
sorry.
the flashback scene where we kind of find out about her. That's from the movie.
The stuff with Kaiji, but I was more talking about before that, how like her dad was um uh her dad was in the experiments going on at Antarctica and she was there with him and everyone else died except for her and she was like mute for like 3 years or something.
Oh yeah. Although I still don't remember if that was in the episodes or the movie. You might have just ruined
No,
the next episode.
I'm pretty sure that was in it was a later episode though. But and then yeah, so she is also like had a very hard childhood in life and stuff. And she is portrayed to be a fairly intense alcoholic, or at least a chronic day drinker.
Well, okay, okay. Yes, but the way that we've talked about her so far, I'm sure people who haven't seen the show are picturing like a hunched over goblin who's sad, chugs alcohol, and hates kids. But actually, she is flaming hot. She is those spicy Doritos with a little bit of habanero ground on them. Like she is fine.
Oh yeah,
Uh,
and
she's high ranking in Nerve, right? She's super successful. Um, but what I meant when I said that I didn't think she did a good job, I just didn't see her nurturing ever. She, like how towards the end she kind of was like, oh, Shinji's weak. Like she kind of lost her patience and just kind of, yeah. She was never kind to Shinji necessarily. I wouldn't say.
I think she tried her best. It's just she's not equipped for it, and that's something that I think is really interesting. Like later on, there's a scene of like her showing up at his school, and all the other guys like fawning over her and freaking out about how lucky Shinji is, and Shinji's like disgusted because like to the outside world, Misato is like a very put together and impressive person, but like because he lives with her, Shinji like sees the veneer pulled back and how she's a slob and a mess and stuff. But no one else sees that except
All
for
right,
like him and Kaji.
quick relation to that. Who does that sound like? Put together on the outside, not like an absolute mess in private. It without saying her name, it's our blonde friend.
Damn. Damn.
Am I wrong? She's literally Miss Misato.
I mean, you're not.
But anyways, so about that scene though, all right, I know that we said we were going to talk about this, and I I think Shinji is overly critical of Miss Misato, and I was wondering if you had any ideas as to why. Like, sure, she's a little gross, but at the same time, this is essentially your mother figure. She's taken you into your home, and as far as we can tell, with no extra benefits beyond you being a drain. Uh, yeah. Why is he so critical for absolutely no reason?
I think it's the same reason, and we'll talk about Asuka when she shows up and stuff. But I think it's the same reason that like most of the Shinji's criticisms of other people in the show is that he is upset when he sees himself in other people, and I don't think the slob part contributes to that, but just how she like works so hard in her public life, in her like work life, to impress people and be so put together and efficient and hardworking. And then when she gets home, that's kind of all fake. And like we see Shinji in his piloting of the robot. Also, this is a giant robot show, by the way. We haven't like mentioned that at all.
Well, we haven't gotten there. We're still
Yeah,
talking about like the meeting of the characters.
yeah. But like he just but much like he is so eager to please and like just wants to impress people and that kind of thing. He's
I I don't know. I don't think because I don't think it was Shinji who explicitly had a problem with people being like him. That was Asuka. Asuka was the one who hated seeing that sort of thing. And we'll get to her. But my personal thought on why he was so critical is is a lot more simplistic, right? You know the whole, and this, by the way, I don't condone this, but you know how the whole like in elementary it's like, "Oh, that boy likes you cuz he's hitting you." Terrible thing to teach children, but I think that's what Shinji was doing. He genuinely likes and cares about Miss Misato, and to top it all off, she's attractive. So he's a bit of a cock to feign ignorance of that. Like You know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah, I definitely see that. And this is what I meant to bring up. Now, another interesting thing about like our watching experience is that we watched the new dub made for Netflix. And I grew up like all the other times I've watched it, I've watched the old ADV dub, which I think is better, but like this wasn't like that. It wasn't bad, but it was interesting. I feel like they put way less emphasis on this, or maybe didn't even mention it at all. But like a big thing in at least the old dub, and maybe it was in this too, and I just don't remember, but is the idea of the hedgehog's dilemma, which is this idea, it's like a theory about human intimacy and like how people connect. And the idea is that like a hedgehog has spines, so if they get too close to each other, they'll like poke each other. And basically the same is true for humans. Like you can only really hurt someone emotionally if you like get close to them. So by the same coin flip, if you reject intimacy, like keep up walls and don't get close to people, then they can't hurt you. And I think that's kind of where Shinji is too. So he's like lashing out at Miss Misato because she is the person who's nicest to him and because she tries to be close to him and tries to like show him affection and stuff.
Yeah, that seems like a pretty common theme for like a lot of the younger characters, but yeah, yeah, I see how that could work.
Yeah, okay. So maybe we'll go into the story a little bit now. So yeah, Shinji shows up. He got like contacted by his dad for like the first time ever, or like in like 10 years or something since his mom died, because he's been living with his aunt and uncle, I think. And he gets picked up by Misato, and she drives him to like Nerve, the super underground robot hangout place, and then everything just kind of hits him at once, right? Like his dad is standing on like an ominous like railing above him, and no greeting, no hey son, how school's been. Like, Shinji, you need to get in this giant purple robot and go kill a big angel.
Oh yeah, he did kind of just dive into it, didn't he? And Shinji didn't. I did he? No, he only got into it because the secondary pilot was gonna come up, Ray, and she was literally on a hospital bed
Yeah,
attached to an IV, and
yeah,
they were
no,
gonna put her in there to fight.
there's like a line where he's like, no, I'm a 14-year-old boy who goes to school. I'm not going to get in your giant purple robot. And they're like, fine, then Ray will do it. And yeah, they just wheel her out on like a gurney.
And the worst part is she was willing to do it. Like she would do just about anything for Gendo, which is Shinji's dad, Gendo.
Yeah, yeah, Ray's a super interesting character. Talk about her more as we go. But yeah, like she's like, fine, I'll do it. And then like an earthquake hits from the angel attacking, and she like falls off her like bed. She's bleeding, and Shinji's like, I can't just let this poor girl who's like my age and like massively wounded go fight. So I'll do it. And then he does.
Yeah, yeah, and that's our first introduction to the well, to a lot of things. Gendo, Ray, the Evangelions. Uh, I guess it was too early to make a first impression of Gendo.
I mean, you kind of know right off the bat he's an ass.
Yeah, he just sucks. Uh, I just I don't get how you could see your child as a tool and like an annoying tool to use at that. Like he acts as though Shinji is a pair of clippers that fell apart and you have to hold them at the joint to use them.
Yeah, yeah, no. If like you can tell if like Ray served his, if he could get by without Shinji, like he does not relish in having Shinji around or using him.
Yeah, and he never I think there's one time where he says good job Shinji and it was like how you'd say good job to a dog. It was a good Shinji,
No, you.
and it made his day.
Yeah, well, because it was the first time his father had ever given him praise, like in his life. But
Yeah.
I think you totally hit the nail on the head when you said like Shinji is a tool, and like everyone, I think in some ways everyone is a, but like he like goes out of his way to show zero affection to Shinji, which is interesting because he is willing to show affection to Rei.
Yeah, and early on in the show, no idea why.
I mean,
Er,
it ties into, and I don't know when we should talk about it. And this is one of those weird things that like it's mostly just implied and never really stated. But Rei is, for all intents and purposes, a clone of Shinji's mom.
Well, way to go jumping around, Lucas. You really.
Well, I'm just saying, like, we're talking about character relationships right now, and I think even though she's not her, and Gendo, like, obviously just wants to get the real Yui Ikari back, he still, like, likes Rei because she looks like his dead wife.
Which is so. Can I just say so weird?
Yeah,
Weird.
no, it's
She's
super weird.
14.
Yeah, yeah.
And he evidently has some affections for her, but when we found out that she was a clone of Shinji's mom, that kind of took it from, oh, it's like a mentor mentee relationship, like that's cute, that's sweet, to whoa, there's some romantic feelings on Gendo's end at least. We don't know about Rei, and given how this show has been, I'm not confident that in the background there weren't some less than ideal things occurring.
I don't think so because, and now we're really skipping around again, but like is doing things with Ritsuko, and um like I think he liked Rei because she looked like Yui, but like also he really like we talked about, his end goal is getting the real back.
Which I'm glad we didn't see, because that would have been so sad to see Rei just get cast aside essentially, because that's what would have happened.
Yeah, yeah. Well, and that kind of stuff we should be careful because like that kind of stuff is more end of Evangelion discussion, and that will be a separate review. Um, but let's keep going with the series. So yeah, like the early episodes are they're kind of slow, not in like a boring way, but just like with the pre, like I feel like there's a big split between pre and post Asuka episode. You agree?
Yeah, I would say pre Asuka, and even with Asuka initially, it progresses like a normal anime. I mean, we had a freaking beach episode basically where they were on boats and there was like a battle out there. You remember the Navy one?
Well, see, I even just mean like I know what you're saying is like as things progress, like they get more out there, but I just mean like there's so much more like dynamism and like energy with the
Yeah,
characters
and
interacting when you add Asuka in, because before Asuka you have Shinji, who's like an introvert and like doesn't is inactive and stuff. You have Misato, who's like the most outgoing out of them, and then you have Rei, who like has,
lives in a concrete cell.
yeah, like, and has no outward emotions or anything.
So you
Um,
think the show got better once Asuka got there?
yeah,
I
I'd say so. Like, I like the early episodes, but I think like Asuka joining the cast kind of gives everything a shot in the arm that it needs.
I'm trying to I'm trying to decide because right after Asuka gets there is when, like, for a few episodes, yeah, it gets that high energy, but then just like the high energy from drugs, it immediately goes downhill really fast and we find out some dark stuff about everyone. So like part of me kind of liked the early episodes before she got there, but also, yeah, they got kind of boring because there was no progression. It was Shinji's sad, Rei's gonna take over. Shinji doesn't want Rei to take over, so they both fight the angels. They win. Boom. Next episode, rinse and repeat. That's what it was for the first bit.
Yeah, and it's not too many episodes, so I think it's like I think it's a good amount of time to have that because you get like and I forget for these first few episodes, Shinji is the only like active Ava pilot because he's the only one with an Ava because Unit Zero is like not ready to go yet. You know?
Yeah.
So like Rei can theoretically pilot, and I think can kind of pilot Unit One sometimes if it doesn't go berserk, but like basically it's just up to Shinji to fight these aliens. Wow. Until the episode with the big cube, because that's like a that's an iconic episode.
The one that was like bulletproof to everything they did.
The one where they had to like borrow like an experimental like plasma cannon and steal all of Japan's power to shoot it.
Oh, and then didn't they use the spear?
No, no, that's way later. Yeah, we haven't seen Spear yet.
Oh, okay.
Now who's
Well,
jumping around?
yeah, you're right. You're right. I see you wrote here Fuyutsuki, but I don't know how pivotal he is. I'd rather skip on to the Angels.
Yeah, yeah. I yeah, I'm good with that. It's interesting. There's a lot of like side characters in Evangelion that like in any other series like you wouldn't think of twice, but like because it's Ava, like everyone has like weird little quirks and like you can tell there's something more there. Like the three people who sit at the screens in Nerve and like yell, "It's an angel!" Like
And did they come back later and
they're
they're like in dreams?
no like that them in End of Evangelion. Like they have a lot of interesting character moments in End of Evangelion.
Yeah,
But we won't talk
yeah.
about that now. But yeah, I'm with you. I think the Avas, or sorry, I think the Angels are like super cool villains because I don't know about you, but I do remember when I watched the series for the first time after they fought the first one, I was like, okay, this guy's got a cool design. And I like assumed that like that thing, since it was like humanoid and had like the very distinct like face, I was like, okay, so this is like the default angel. Like they're gonna be like grunts or like evolutions of this guy. But then every single one is completely different. And that surprised me, you know?
Liked the Angels when, not even when they were just humanoid, but like when they had some kind of physical body that could fight back. I I know you say that the pyramid or diamond episode was pivotal, but why did it look like a building?
I mean, it was like floating building still.
It literally had edges and flat sides.
I
There
think I think it might have unironically been budget because like
because
it doesn't move at all, which made
because
things
yeah,
easy.
I was gonna say the show had amazing storytelling. It had all right like acceptable animations for when it was made, but that angel seems so low effort to me.
No, no, yeah, Evangelion. It definitely varies in terms of animation because sometimes it looks really good. Like the explosions look really cool, and like there's a big explodey cross that looks
Or like
cool.
yeah, or I like how they animated like the just the under Tokyo underground basically.
Yeah, I mean, and that's kind of like a given for old shows. Is like the backgrounds always look really cool. They're usually like hand painted. I feel like any scene with Unit Two is like super well animated. You know,
I think Unit 2 is
the red one,
Asuka's.
yeah, the red one. So like it hopping around on the boats, it in End of Ava. Like I feel like any scene with it is like they put the money there.
Yeah, I will say of all the Evangelion scenes, I think I enjoyed Unit 2's the best.
Yeah, that's fair. I think we should take just a second to appreciate like the Evangelion's designs because like they are so cool and like so unique.
They are, but this actually happens relatively early on, I think, when Shinji's goes berserk and its mouth opens, and after the fight, we see a human hand hanging out of the Evangelion.
Yeah, yeah, we get those like early shots of like maybe this thing isn't just a robot.
But yeah, well, we find that out early on when they say the breastplate's damaged, but we can grow a new one.
Oh
We find
yeah.
that we find that out pretty early on, but that's where we found out there were people inside of it, which was so weird to me. When you saw the mouth open up, you could tell it wasn't a human mouth. So, judging from the hand and the mouth, you know it has a human body under some armor to some extent, but the head's messed up.
Yeah, it's like it's
And,
human adjacent. Like
and what's going on at the neck? Because that's where they insert the pilot. This beast, whatever being is inside of the Evangelions, is messed up.
that's yeah, that's a good way to put it. Yeah, and we'll talk about Ava origins later on. While we're on angels, I think it's interesting to know, and they don't mention it that often, but like all the angels are numbered. So like, first angel is Adam. That's the one we don't. At this point, we know very little about it. Something about Adam happened at the North Pole. Second one's Lilith. That's the one we do see as like the big fat white masked thing that's crucified in the basement, right?
With the spear of Longinus in it.
Yeah, at this point the spear is in it. That's the second angel. The third angel is the one that attacks in episode 1. And after that they just count on from like the angel of the week.
Yeah, yeah.
So which one so like design wise, which angel is your favorite?
The one that was like in the sky. You know what I'm talking about? Like really late in the show, and its thing was making people dream. I think that's the one where Shinji like dissolved.
Yeah, that's what the hard thing is. There's like a lot of there are like multiple flying ones. Are you talking about the one that like looked like it was made of lightning?
I think so. It was like blue.
Uh, Gosh, it's hard to say because like there's one that's made of lightning that like shined down the light on Asuka and messed her up. But there's also the one that's like it was like a loop, like a big hula hoop, and then it turned into like
Yeah,
a worm and it like started invading Ray.
that's the one that I was thinking of. The one with the big hoop.
That one is yeah. Oh,
Hold on, I'm looking at it. I actually, you know what? I changed my response. I say the one that splits in two, and they had to kill the cores simultaneously.
that was a fun episode. That episode is like it's so weird because that episode's so lighthearted compared to like everything else.
It was all right. So I'll break down the episode. So basically, they attempt to attack these angels. Um, and I think they thought they killed it, but it turns out it's like two in one, and it has two cores that you have to kill at the same time to actually kill it, or else the other side regenerates. And so Nerve, I think it was, actually ended up blasting it with a big bomb, which hurt it enough that it was immobile for like a couple days, I think, giving Shinji and Asuka enough time to train. And it makes, I personally think the training makes no sense, but
You didn't like them
whatever.
playing DDR to get better at fighting.
It was it DDR, and then wasn't there like they had to do everything in sync, brush their teeth, get dressed, all this jazz.
Yep.
And somehow doing everything at the same time together made it so that they could simultaneously shoot the cores on the dot, like on the same millionth of a second. They shot them.
Oh, it was so much fun. Like, so I do think we should go back one episode. We talked about most of the like middle stuff, but we should talk about Asuka's introduction. That's where we are. Well, I don't know. Do you want to talk more about Rei? Because we did kind of skip over like when Shinji visited Rei, and yeah, she has like this super grimy apartment with like no details or anything. It's just like dirty clothes and bloody bandages and like nothing.
Yeah, so here I guess I'll give a little rundown of what I thought and what I saw of Ray having seen it for the first time. Uh Initially, when we meet Ray, right, she's injured and they're about to throw this essentially her corpse into the Evangelion and have it fight. And at first I'm thinking, "Oh, she's a badass." Right? She's the problem solver. She's the one they're going to put in when shit gets rough. And then as the show goes on, there's like scenes where she's really quiet. Shinji will be complaining about his dad, and then she'll snap at him and say, "How dare you not appreciate what your dad has done for you?" And then I'm like, oh, maybe she's not a badass. Maybe she's just really edgy and has a weird thing for Shinji's dad. And then when I thought this is the moment where I thought, all right, Ray's weird. I don't know if I like her character anymore. Was when Shinji came by her place to drop off something from her new key card, essentially. And he walks in. This place is it no color, all gray, all concrete. Lights are all off. You walk into the bedroom. There's just bloody bandages on the floor next to a clean student's uniform, and she comes home to this every day. This girl who is basically protecting the world in an Evangelion is living in a concrete box, like like a kennel for a pet. And that's when I was kind of like, this is uncomfortable, and I don't like it.
Yeah, no, she's like very weird, like, and not in like a lol anime weird way, in like a she does not seem like a complete human, you know.
No, yeah, anyone who's familiar with anime will know that anime women will be like, yes, yes, main character, go forth, don't worry about me, I'm just a lowly woman. But yeah, Ray almost like doesn't seem to realize she's a person with real needs, you know? And I think we can get into later why, like maybe she's aware of the thing that Gendo's doing. Is it cool if we mention it now?
Yeah, we can, because like they mention it now out of context. They're always talking about instrumentality. We just don't
Oh,
know what it is.
oh no, I wasn't talking about instrumentality. I was talking about the fact that she's a clone.
Oh yeah,
Okay, so I guess we already talked about it a little bit. She's a clone of Shinji's mom. And this might be reading way too into the dank, disgusting concrete apartment, but I think to some extent she and Gendo are aware that she's replaceable. And so giving her all the luxuries that a normal like 14-year-old might want, like an actual bedroom, comfortable things, nice food, she doesn't seem to want any of that. Like I genuinely don't think she wants anything besides making Gendo happy,
yeah, yeah. And I,
right?
I think it, again, in a weird way, it's like Shinji. Like obviously, she's a very different character from Shinji, but like also she does not have any like sense of self worth.
Yeah, but do you think it's like for Shinji it's because he's never been shown that he has worth? But for her, tell me what you think of this. I think it's because maybe she knows that she's just a copy. She's just a tool for Gendo, basically.
It's interesting because I feel like, oh no, we're more skipping around, but like I feel like we know there's been like three main Rays, right? There was the little like baby Ray that Ritsuko's mom choked, and then there's the Ray we know for most of the series, and then there's the third Ray who like appears after the second one blows up, and I think like the longer a Ray exists, the more like human emotion, like I feel like she becomes more human and more empathetic and outgoing as she like exists and is around people. But I think that resets when like her body dies, you know?
Yeah, I don't know because she seemed really. First of all, I don't know why. Like that lady choked her to death, right? That seems like an extreme reaction for a little kid talking shit.
Well, but I think it was because like it didn't seem like a little kid talking shit. Like I think she could tell that Ray was like very smart and very like aware of what she was doing, you know?
All right, but
I'm not saying it was not uncalled.
yeah, I was gonna say at the end of the day, I've like just as people, we get told some pretty foul stuff by people who we are friends with and whatever. And I'm not gonna go kill anybody.
Yeah, that's fair.
But anyways, fast forward to the whole emotions resetting. I felt like Ray number two, so as in the one after Child Ray,
Hmm.
was really cold and emotionless, and I felt like she didn't grow at all emotionally. And then Ray 3, I feel like built off of that. So Ray 1 clearly didn't care what anyone thought and was killed for it. Ray 2, kind of cold, but whatever. Like, she didn't grow, she didn't recede at all, and she wasn't just outright rude to anybody really anymore. And then Ray 3 figured out how to care. So I think it was compounding the whole time.
I think that's a good way to look at it. I mean, I think Ray 2 had some moments of development because you've got like her smiling when Shinji saves her after the third angel attack, or the what was it, the cube angel. You have that really interesting confrontation she and Asuka have late on in like the elevator, where like Asuka keeps calling her a doll, and she doesn't just like take it. She like says, "I'm not a doll," and like interesting stuff like that.
Which Asuka got really angsty later on.
Yeah.
Like,
Okay.
I thought,
Okay. Let's wait. Let's go in order. Because now let's do Asuka's introduction. We haven't done that yet. So yeah,
oh,
we have a couple episodes of like Shinji and Rei doing stuff, fighting some angels. Then everything gets shaken up when they're like, we're getting another Ava pilot and another Ava shipped over from Germany, coming off the Autobahn, and they go to meet her on the ships, and it's this unlike Rei and Shinji, who like if you didn't know better, just seem like two like homeschooled kids you met at like camp. Um, you get Asuka, who's like very loud, very outgoing, very like, and I don't mean this as a bad thing because like I think she's an incredible character, and I think the reason it's like this is because like most other anime, like I shouldn't say most, but a lot of other anime girls are based on Asuka, but like she's much more anime, at least at the beginning, because she's very like, oh,
aggressive.
yeah, yeah, aggressive and flirtatious and stuff.
Like the kind of what's a good example? I think is it Baka and Test where is it Minami who like at one point is like, yeah, I'm into the main character, and then he like figures that out, and then she goes, but don't get it twisted, I don't like you.
Yeah, yeah,
Right?
yeah. No,
That
no. Like, I mean, so like the whole, I think Tsunderes. I googled this a while ago, but like Tsunderes were around before Asuka, so like the idea of a girl being like, it's not like I like you or anything, existed before this, but like I think Asuka really like defined what that looked like in anime,
that's actually really cool to think of. You know what I
isn't
mean?
it?
That
Like every character like that is like in some way influenced by Asuka. Yeah.
she's like the template. Now every time you go and watch anime, I don't know if this is a plus or a negative, but no matter what, you're always gonna see redheaded Asuka being angry.
Well, the same is true for Ray. I mean, I forget what it's called, but like that like is an archetype in anime of like emotionless. like anime girl, and Rei is like the template for that too.
Like, I'm trying to think of an example.
The
I
only one I can think of is Haruhi Suzumiya, but you haven't seen that show.
so like I don't have a specific example, but here's like what I would imagine a girl like that would say. And here's the thing is I feel like in other animes they don't do it as serious as Ray though.
No,
Like
it's like
you'll
played
hear
for laughs a lot of the time.
yeah, like you'll hear some cartoon music go like doo doo and then she goes, um, I could have cut your head off, but whatever.
Yeah, yeah, like that kind of. Well, she's more crazy, but like kind of Shoko from Baka and Tess. If we're still going off that,
Joko.
the one with long hair who like was into like
Oh,
the secondary guy.
the one who I thought was attractive.
Yeah,
Yeah.
who had like the taser and stuff.
Yes.
Dang, I want to rewatch Baka and Tess now.
I want to get tased.
Um, but yeah, Asuka shows up and she's like the best pilot. She's got like the best sync rates with her Ava. She's super outgoing, super loud, and she like kills this Ava on the ships, and then she has to move in with Shinji and Misato, and like no one is happy about that.
Well, it's funny because Misato doesn't seem to care, right? At least I didn't get any hints of
Yeah, I
that.
think she's okay with it.
And then Asuka, I don't know if this was like a joke on her end, but she packed up Shinji's things.
Yeah,
Except
she was like, yeah, Shinji, sorry, you're getting replaced. No, I don't think that was a joke. I think she actually thought she was taking his place.
yeah, she like moved all of her stuff into his room, and then in this sad little box in the hallway, it said Shinji's thing.
Mm. But then, as we talked about before, they go through the like interpretive dance Ava fight, and they don't. I guess they kind of become closer. They don't like each other anymore after that episode, but like I think they understand each other. You know.
Was it during that kind of like sync montage where they kissed or no?
I think that's later, but since I don't remember the episode, I think we can talk about that now because I think that's a very interesting.
Okay. So quick theory, Asuka never actually doesn't like him. Asuka always likes Shinji. And Shinji, his weird timidness could be endearing in some way. And so Asuka like sees herself in Shinji. And so she wants to get close to him, but it's like that hedgehog theory you were talking about earlier. She wants to be close, but she's scared of it. So you see this multiple times throughout the show where they'll have like a fun activity together or like they'll seem like they're having a moment and then Asuka immediately goes, well, Shinji, you're dog water as a person. Or like after their kissing scene, she immediately runs to the bathroom and is like, oh, that was awful. And in the moment you think, oh, that was just like some weird like teen stuff. But later on we find out, or no, we didn't even find this out. I just looked it up and saw some like theories that she kissed him because she wanted to like try to be affectionate with Shinji and then pretended to be grossed out because she was scared of getting close. So anyways, yeah, that's my thing is I think Asuka likes Shinji. Shinji's open to the idea of being friends, but Asuka keeps pushing him away cuz she's scared.
Yeah, I feel like Asuka like wants to hate Shinji. Like she feels like she should because of how he acts and things. But like, yeah, I don't think she ever really does.
Yeah, well, he embodies everything that she hates about herself.
Hmm.
Um, he's nervous, he's weak, he wants attention, he wants affection.
He's always trying to please everyone.
Yeah, and what's funny is if you really pay attention, she does all of that as well, just in a loud, confident way, so you don't notice it. But if you really like look at it, they are the same person. She just does it with a bit more enthusiasm,
More
I guess.
gusto.
Yeah, more chest, more humph.
Yeah, yeah. Oh, it's so good. Like this show has one of like the best casts in any. ever. It's so good.
I don't know. High School DxD is pretty quality.
Damn, you got me there. Oh, that's a good example of the Ray archetype. The girl with white hair from High School DxD. She's like
Rook? No, she's not. Oh, you know who's a good Ray archetype? Mysterious Girlfriend X.
I don't know. She's like her own beast.
You know what's funny is when you first got your girlfriend, that's who I pictured was
Urabe.
yeah, like when I didn't know your girlfriend yet, I in my head pictured her because your meeting story was so weird.
Okay,
Yeah,
we don't need to go out on into this.
come on, it's so funny.
We have so much else to cover.
This will get you so many views. It's so funny. So he's walking back with her to the dorms, and I guess at the end of their walk, before he comes up to hang out with the guys, he goes, "Well, is it? Can I get your Snapchat?" And she goes, "I don't have Snapchat, but I have Instagram." And he goes, "Oh, I don't have Instagram." And rather than ask for her number, he goes, "All right, I guess I'll see you next week," and walked upstairs.
Yeah, no, that's what happened.
You are Shinji.
Hey, okay. It wasn't, at least it wasn't like, no, it was like weird, but like
It
it
was a pretty
resolved
Shinji tier
it
move.
resolved quickly. Like there wasn't any like awkward hot dogging around. You know what I mean?
I wish there was. That would have been a good anime.
Oh no, that would see that then I would like cringe at it thinking about it. As it stands, I think it's really funny.
Yeah. All right, but so we talked about Asuka and Shinji. I don't know if you want to go into any storyline stuff because I think we've covered it up to this point, right? Initially, Shinji's kind of kicking ass against Angels. Ray's kind of out for the count, and Misato and Gendo are just in the background. And then when Asuka gets there, it's basically just the first part of the show, but now Asuka and Shinji are kicking ass
Yeah.
together.
Yeah, no, they both like are for a while they're just kind of like killing it. Like they're kind of just wrecking every angel. There's the lava angel that Asuka goes and deals with, and then Shinji like rescues her before she falls into the lava. Then there's
That was a cool episode.
it was see I think this
loved
is like
that
maybe
episode.
like the peak of the show, like this middle section where it is just like fun monster of the week stuff, because yeah, you have the lava episode that's really good, then you have the one where the power's out and like Rei, Asuka, and Shinji have to like sneak around through like the like closed doors and stuff together. I really like that because I think
When they
they're
had to take the emergency route.
yeah, because I think they're like dynamic as like a three person team is really fun, you know?
Yeah, not in the Evangelions.
Yeah. Well, and in the Evangelion, because they have like good chemistry together when they're fighting together. I feel like there's an alternate universe where like Rei, Asuka, and Shinji just like become like a really solid team and good friends and stuff, you know? Like I feel like that could happen with these characters.
Where they all have healthy backgrounds in an alternate anime. They have healthy backgrounds. I would be curious to see if anyone wrote like a fanfic where they have normal lives and they're all just buddies. I would like that
Dude,
so much
I
more.
think more than that. I think there's like legitimate spin-offs that are like that.
I would like to dive into one of those. But so this next point we have here is Shinji and Miss Misato at like mid show, like what their relationship is.
Oh, because we did skip over because like it's not that important to the overall plot, but I think it gives a lot of introspection to Misato. There's that really interesting episode where there's like the American made um, autopilot robot that they're trying to say like is a better replacement to an Ava.
Yeah.
And then Misato just like basic like Shinji helps, but like she like single handedly takes it down basically. Um, that's a cool episode. But yeah, I just think Misato is like a really cool character. Like she's very messed up, but like she's still like successful stuff despite that, you know?
Yeah, and I mean honestly, if you took any anime character and then like dug into why they are the way they are, you'll probably find some messed up stuff. But Miss Misato, yeah, externally badass. But one thing about that episode that I didn't understand is they got in trouble for taking out the American robot. That still makes no sense to me because the robot went haywire on its own.
Well, no, remember, like, it's very heavily implied that, like, Nerve caused it to go haywire in the first place. So I think what they
Yeah,
got in
but
trouble for was for, like, minimalizing the casualties from it. I think Nerve would have preferred it just continued to go haywire and, like, caused even more damage to,
oh,
like, make more sure that no one else tries to replace the Evas, because the Evas are so important for instrumentality to happen.
I didn't know that. That's vile. So
Yeah.
you mean the American like alternate anime, the American robots would have worked out?
Theoretically, yeah, and then just all whatever it is, 15 angels would have been defeated, or 17 angels would have been defeated, and then just
I
like
mean,
life goes back to normal.
I hate the leaders of Nerve.
They're messed up, dude. I mean, I think Gendo's the leader of Nerve. I guess you can also blame those like robot guys who are the leaders of Seele. They're also not
Yeah,
good
those
dudes.
that's what I meant. But so I guess there's that. We're in third phase.
Yeah, so
Uh
like really all of the sudden everything kind of starts to go to shit. Like you have those like 4 or 5 angel fights where like everyone's working together and everything's going super well, and then just everything kind of gets bad.
I think at this point we've heard about instrumentality, so I just I kind of want to talk about like what are the benefits necessarily? Like, why did these guys? It's not like every single person is innocent. You know what I mean? Those
Mhm.
guys probably have dirt too. Why would you want to essentially meld all human minds into one, where everyone knows everything about each other, and they have no choice but to accept it?
I think Sele kind of sees it as like the next step of human evolution, and like also by doing it, I think everyone's effectively immortal in instrumentality, right? Because like their souls are just all combined. So I think
Yeah,
that
but
would be.
there's no individualism. You can't be your own person anymore. There's no activities to do.
Yeah, but I don't think they really care. They think they're becoming like next level beings, like ultimate life form or something.
But here's what I'm saying, right? You become the next level being. You're immortal. You don't have a switch. You can't go out to like a restaurant. You can't taste anymore. I genuinely think that like this is off topic, but I think they all would have just gone insane.
But you also, well, I mean, this, I think everyone would be like, because like it's a different kind of consciousness. So yeah, I think your like human personality and things would probably like fade. But you also, it seems like, have access to like everyone in the world's memories, like Netflix. So you could just like watch people's lives forever. And I think you can
So
still like communicate. Like, yeah, I know it's basically pointless. Probably read everyone's minds, but like you can still like interact in a way.
yeah, but like even with the billions of hours, trillions even of hours of stuff to watch, essentially, you would eventually run out. I think one of several things would happen, right? Either everyone gets bored and goes insane. Uh, yeah, that's it.
Well, but also remember, instrumentality may have looked different depending on who was like running it. Because remember, first, Sele's really mad that Gendo is starting instrument, but then Gendo's upset because Rei's running instrumentality and like letting Shinji run it, basically, right? Um,
Yeah.
Also, this is kind of going into Wait, we should really save the deep instrumentality discussion for End of Ava. But just remember that like everybody's goals for instrumentality are like different.
And the instrumentality sucks. If it ever turns out that that's a real thing in the real world, don't do it. If you're listening to this and you're the future president and you have the opportunity to do that, don't do it.
If you were about to connect the embryo in your hand of Adam to the giant fat masked image of
No, no, no. It was on your hand, and then your girlfriend's gonna bite it off with her boob.
oh yeah, yeah. And then she's gonna float into the big fat man.
Actually, you know what's really shitty is I don't think she bit it off with her boob. It went in there, and then she bit it off with her vagina.
I think it was like her abdomen. Like calm down.
Bit it off with a vagina.
Okay,
But
okay.
all right, so we get done with the happy-go-lucky, like Asuka and Shinji are fighting monsters, and I think when it all kind of started to go south was when they took the spear right out of Lillith
Oh
and used
no,
it.
no, that happens like quite a bit after. Because like really, I think the first big turning point is Ava Unit One getting trapped in the shadow, right? Because there's like the floating sphere angel. Shinji gets sucked in, and that's like our first trippy episode. That's where you're getting like all this imagery of like Shinji's childhood and like him picturing all these terrible things and stuff.
Oh, and see, my knowledge is going to be very limited on this because the screen was flashing and it was so vile to look at. I either closed my eyes or looked away for most of these next episodes
Yeah,
because it hurt my head.
no, Galen was like getting nauseous and stuff. I was worried we were gonna have to tap out before we got to the end. We did tap out of watching them that night because like, and we didn't watch the movie or the last two episodes because I didn't think it would be healthy.
I was having the worst time.
Yeah, but then hey, remember you enjoyed it a little more later when you put on sunglasses to watch it.
No, so yeah, genuinely, I actually still have them right here in my drawer. I put sunglasses on because Lucas was like, "Oh, well, maybe it'll block some of the light," and I go, "Oh, that makes sense," and it worked. I just wore sunglasses for the next 3 hours inside in a dark room.
Yep, it was pretty sick. But anyways, so yeah, gets into this. He has the first like trippy episode, and you're like, this doesn't feel like my monster of the week anime. And then he like rips out of the spherical angel in like berserk mode and stuff, and then everything's just okay.
Well, so the Unit One Berserker eat goes berserk and eats that angel, right? That's what we're talking about.
No, that's a different angel. Here, I'm gonna send you a picture of all the angels. This is how I've been keeping track. So after the
Oh, who's the angel with the boobs?
that's the one that like becomes Ray for a little bit. Yeah, this is fan art, but like it's good fan art.
Is there any deviant art?
I'm sure. Anyways, the next angel, this is another one where it's like first it's like, ooh, we're getting a new character, new friend. Because there's a new Ava unit, and it doesn't have a pilot yet. So it's Ava Unit 3. It looks like the other units. It's kind of more boring than the other ones because it looks like Unit 1 but without the like horn and stuff, and it's all black.
And it
But
only appears for the one episode, right?
yeah, because they're just like building up like who's the pilot gonna be? But throughout the episode, it's like heavily implied the pilot's Toji, like
Yeah.
because we get a bunch of backstory on Toji we didn't have before. We see him like going through his life. We see that the class president has like a big crush on him and stuff.
Which, all right, there it is. That's something that they like revealed and then never built on ever again.
Well, it's because it's weird because it's said that Toji survives this, but we never see.
Not even in instrumentality.
No, he's in the final scene, but yeah, not a lot. But anyways, yeah, Koji's gonna pilot the Ava unit because like if he does it, they're gonna transfer his sister to like a way nicer hospital and stuff, and they're doing a test run. The Ava launches and stuff. Also, I don't remember if it's said or implied, but we basically learned that Shinji's entire class at school is like potential Ava pilots. So like when they say you're like the first child or the second child, it's not like you were magically given like these powers. It's like they probably just picked you because you're like look like a good candidate. Also, that is
That
one thing I hate about this dub is in the old dub it was, raised the first child. Shinji's the third child. But in this it's like Shinji is the third children. Even hate it.
and then yeah, I liked it. It kind of became like a joke for me. I would call you and tell you, hey, fourth children, do you want to play hunt?
No, yeah, I did. It was worth the like weirdness. Develop that meme. That was fun. But anyways, yeah, Toji's in the Ava. They launch it. They're like, ooh, we got a third angel. Now we're gonna like, or a third Ava. Now we're gonna like go crazy. And then like some weird flesh starts to like ooze out of it. And they're like, oh yeah, that blood type blue. There's an angel like possessing the Ava. Um, and so they send Shinji to go kill it, and he's like, "Is there a person in there? Because I'm not going to like fight it if there's a like living person in there." And they like won't tell him, they won't say anything, and he like refuses to fight it. And then they activate the dummy plug system that they've been developing, which we don't know what it is yet at this point, but it basically just is autopilot for the Avas, and it just like
I would
tears
I
it
would
apart.
Yeah, well, I would imagine if we want to talk about like what the dummy plug is.
Yeah, that's only a couple episodes later, so we can just talk about it while we're on it. Yeah, the it turns out the
Uh,
dummy plug is like it's just full of like cloned Ray bodies that have no soul, but like they look just like her, and they like are really creepy because it's not like they're comatose because they don't have a soul. They like are smiling and staring and stuff.
yeah, but like, how do the uh not pilots, the computer guys, how do they control it then?
I don't totally know. I think it's like programmed, and like
Okay,
what I assume is that the reason there have to be like bodies in there is that like the soul in the Ava won't run unless there's like another like body in it. So I think it's like the combination of like the Ray bodies and like the programming are running it.
oh yeah, that makes more sense. Let's see. So we got
And
trapped in Angel's shadow.
yeah, so then after that, after he beats Unit 3 and like the dummy plug even like crushes Toji's plug. So like he probably would have been totally okay, but then he does that and then he's like injured, but as far as we know, okay. Who knows? Maybe that was just like a lie or something.
That Toji was okay.
Maybe. Like it's not like Nerve are the most honest people.
Yeah, but I don't see what benefit they'd have to say that he was okay.
To stop Shinji from leaving.
Man, Shinji would have stayed.
Shinji leaves after that, even knowing that
Yeah,
or
but he comes back,
yeah, but like
and I think his dad like knew inside that like Shinji won't just leave because Shinji wants his approval, and I think his dad constantly uses that against him.
I see. I think you're right that he like figured Shinji would come back, but I also think Gendo was always prepared for the idea that Shinji would leave like forever because I think he viewed him as so weak that he didn't like put it past him that he would abandon.
Yeah, I mean, is he wrong?
Hey, he stuck it out. I mean,
Barely,
barely, yeah.
barely.
But anyways, yeah. Then the next episode is like even more gruesome battle because yeah, like after this point, the angels like aren't hecking around anymore. They're dealing some serious damage because this angel like blows up Unit 2 or Unit 1. Unit 2 is like completely like made a mockery of, basically. Like Asuka's at this point Asuka's starting to lose confidence because like I think it like takes off both of Unit Two's arms and maybe its head too. Like it just wrecks her. And
Wait, so looking at the diagram, which one was that?
this is the 14th angel, like cereal. It's the one with like the like cloth arms.
Cloth. I'm counting, dude. I'm not. According to this chart that you sent me, the 14th
They're
would
labeled.
be
It's the one
red.
in the bottom left after Unit 3.
Oh, okay, I see him.
Gosh.
Yeah, I remember that. Yep,
Yeah,
yep.
this one like wrecks everyone. And then Shinji has like a emotional conversation with Kaji, who we should probably talk about Kaji because he's like a very important character, even though he doesn't have that much time. Because he's Misato's ex boyfriend. They were like seemingly very much in love in college, and he's like a secret double agent between Seele and Nerve because like he's secretly working for Gendo even though he's an like Seele employee. So he sneaks the Atom embryo out and brings it to Gendo, which
Yeah.
later leads to his death and stuff. But in this episode, he's like saying how he like as an adult can't do anything, but like Shinji has a chance to like make a difference here, and so and Shinji listens to him and he goes back and he pilots and he also on this thing, but then his Eva goes super berserk, more berserk than the other time, and eats this thing alive.
Yeah. Yeah, and that got it the S2 engine, right? Which meant that it didn't have to be connected to power.
Yeah, like it's now theoretically like yeah, like infinitely powerful, which is why they like after this point they're like, you need to stay out of that thing. We do not know what Ava Unit 1 is capable of now.
Yeah, but like also I don't get how it gained an S2 engine, right?
Because
How does it how does consuming an angel give you an engine?
so S2 engine is like a weird name because as I understand it, the S2 engine is an organ that all angels. So that the S2 engine is like their heart. I mean, I guess their core is kind of their heart, but like it like powers them. And so he ate this angel's power source, so it now has a power source. Whereas the regular Avas, they have a core, but they don't have an S2 engine. So unlike a regular angel, they can't like, or they're not supposed to be able to function by themselves. But then they can go berserk when the soul inside them takes over.
Okay, yeah. Yeah.
Because like that's an important thing that's like subtly implied throughout the series, but as it goes, becomes more apparent. The Evangelions have human souls.
Yeah, and it seems from what we can tell that the souls inside of each Evangelion has to have a connection to the pilot or else it doesn't work.
Yeah, and
Like,
specifically in like Rei and or in Asuka and Shinji's cases, it's their mother's souls that are in there, which is why like when the Eva goes berserk, it's like protecting the person inside of it, you know? Like
well, and it like rejects other pilots. Like I think there was a scene where Rey was put inside of either Unit 2 or Unit 1 and the unit rejected it.
yeah, like there were like multiple issues of Unit 1 and Unit 0 going berserk when they had the wrong people in them and stuff.
You know what I just realized about Toji? That's a possibility.
What's that?
Why would they move his little sister to a better hospital?
Oh, you think they put his little sister's soul in there?
Yeah. And then the reason why it freaked out was because it's his little sister, it's not his mom. She got scared and started like ruining the plan.
Dang, I never even thought about that. That's very possible because like I feel like I think a lot of people think it like is supposed to be a maternal connection, like it's supposed to be the mom in there, and like Ray is just the weird exception because she's a and stuff. So like I guess I always assumed the other classmates of the people in that class, they're like they specifically get like orphans or like people whose parents are like ex nerve employees and who possibly could have died there or something like that. Maybe not specifically ex nerve employees, but like people who they could like get a soul for the Ava or something. But also I've never been like super sure how aware the like scientists at Nerve are of the whole maternal connection thing, you know?
Well, they can't. They must not be. I think it's luck of the draw, really, because they've been talking about putting pilots in Avas that aren't theirs
Yeah. Yeah.
the whole time.
Well,
Like,
and you'd think Gendo would be much more protective of Unit 1 if he was like aware that you soul was in it.
yeah, yeah, and I don't know. It was never made clear how the souls get in there.
Yeah, yeah, because it's interesting because Yui just like disappeared doing a test with the unit, so like that makes sense. It's like she evaporated and like her soul was in, but like with Asuka's mom, it was weird because she was still alive after like the accident that got her soul trapped in it, but like she was super insane. So like,
Wait, was she alive? I thought she killed herself.
well, she killed herself, but like I took it to mean that like she like lost herself to the Ava, and then her body was just like a shell, and that's why she was so crazy. That's how I
Oh,
interpreted it. But it's possible that like her soul didn't enter the Ava until after she died. I don't know.
side note on anime characters, I am so glad that the crazy face anime characters make where they start smiling and their eyes go pure circular and they look dead, the pupils right in the middle.
Hmm.
I am so glad that real life people don't do that. Could you imagine working in a mental health facility and you walk around and that's all you see? People smiling at you with the roundest, largest eyes.
Would not be a fan
I
with you there.
myself would soon be smiling with large round eyes. I would lose my mind.
Yeah, that's fair.
But so we talked about the liquefied and the Eva. Did we?
Yeah, yeah. Shinji.
Yeah, yeah.
Or oh no, we didn't. We kind of skipped over. Oh, because that happens after this. After he eats the S2 engine, yeah, they like open up Unit 1, and Shinji's just like not in the plug. Like his suit's just floating there. So they have to spend like another episode like trying to bring back his physical form. So basically, his soul's AT field shut off while he was in there. And so it's another episode of like Shinji, yes, of like Shinji's mental state, and it's obviously deteriorated quickly, but he is not physical for a while, and then they eventually get him back. But like again, they do not. After this point, they do not want him near the Ava, at least for a while.
Yeah, and like when we say dissolved and not physical, like there was a scene where I think they opened his like pilot tube and his actual pilot suit just kind of floated out.
So it was just like yeah, it was just floating in there. So then the next
Yeah.
two Avas are left for Asuka and Ray to deal with. And at this point, Asuka, like I said, she is not happy. Like her sync numbers are going down, like, and she's just not doing as good a job of piloting. And so I think this is the fight. I think um or this one is it the one with the lightning one where they like launch Ava Unit 2, but she can't even like start moving because like her sync rate is so low.
I didn't recall her ever not being able
Yeah,
to
I know
pilot.
there's at least one point where like yeah, they can't even she can't even
Oh.
like launch it. And at this point she's getting like super frustrated because again, she like Shinji even though she wouldn't admit it, like gets her self-worth from being a good pilot. And so like by not being able to, it's really frustrating and she's like angry at the Ava for being like a stupid tool that doesn't work, which obviously now we understand like the sync rate is like the pilot's connection to their mother basically. And so by feeling that way, it's lowering your sync rate even more.
Oh, you know what? That makes so much sense because she's being mad at the Eva, which she doesn't know is her mom.
Mm-hmm.
Oh,
Yeah, but so this angel they have to, and this is where like the tension starts to build between Sele and Nerve because Sele says, "Don't use the spear. We need that for instrumentality." And Gendo's like, "We need to beat this angel, so let's use the spear." And he has Ray, and at this point, wait, is this Ray? I always forget where Ray 2 dies. Does Ray 2 die fighting that last angel, or does Ray 2 die fighting the worm? I think it's fighting the worm.
I don't, I don't remember.
But anyways,
But
a
yeah,
ray launches, throws the spear. It kills that lightning angel, but the spear is trapped in like the moon's orbit.
yeah, yeah. So there's that, and then
And then the
so
next
that's
angel goes even worse because this one, or I think it is this one that straight up kills Ray too. Like
it's
it
the boy angel, right?
no, this is the worm one, the last one, or um, but like it kills Ray too, and it like obliterates Asuka's mind. Like it puts her through like insane mental torture, and it is just
Yeah.
not good all around.
Doesn't it get Shinji as well?
No, Shinji, they don't even launch you this time.
Oh, okay. But then after that, right? That's when the boy angel comes.
Yep. So there's no more. There's and like they somehow Salient Nerve from what they call the Dead Sea Scrolls know like how many angels are, and they don't. Doesn't seem like they ever reveal this to like the lower nerve personnel or like obviously not the Ava pilots or anything. But there's one angel coming, one angel left. And at this point, like all of Tokyo 3 has been evacuated, like the city's empty, class no longer happens or anything like that. And
Kids
Shinji,
are dumb.
yeah, basically. And Shinji just like is very sad because he's watched his friends suffer a lot. And then Kaoru shows up, who's this handsome little man who wants to be his best friend. How did you feel about Kaoru?
He never did. He actually betray. I wouldn't really consider it a betrayal in the end against Shinji, right? Because he did genuinely consider them friends.
Yeah, I mean, I think more than friends. I think Kaoru like kind of loved Shinji. Like in a very short
Whoa.
time, they form like a very close bond.
Yeah, and I wonder why. Because who even is Kaoru, right? He's just an angel. Why would he? How
So,
can he really feel this for Shinji?
well, but remember that Kaoru says that he and Ray are alike. So I think he's kind of an artificially made person too. Like I think the origins of Kaoru are never made like super clear, but I've always viewed it as he is to Adam what Ray is to Lilith, if that makes sense. Because like I think he is kind of Adam's soul in a new body based on Adam, whereas Ray is kind of Lilith's soul in a body based on Lilith.
Oh, okay.
Because and like I read a little bit on this. I don't know if it's ever confirmed, but Kaoru I think was basically created from Second Impact. So like when Adam blew up in Antarctica, Adam's body reverted to that little embryo thing, but his soul like became Kaoru.
Oh, all right, that makes sense. So yeah, we talked about Shinji being liquefied. What's the backstory episode?
Oh, I just put that in our notes because like there's that one episode where it cuts back to Gendo and Yui in college, and it's really like it's weird, but I like that episode because a lot of
What
it's
was
from
weird
like
about it?
what'd you say?
What was weird about it?
Just like it was from Fuyutsuki's perspective, who like we said is like not a super major character outside of that. Um, because we get he's like a college professor. Yui's like his favorite student, and he like wants her to go off and do great things. But then she introduces him to her boyfriend, who's like this really creepy dude. Like Gendo looks so creepy.
He did, yeah. I mean, he still does.
Yeah, but at least he's like just serious and like stern looking now. But like he doesn't have the beard yet. But has these like gaunt cheeks, and he's just always smiling, and it's so uncomfortable.
Yeah.
And Fuyutsuki's like, "Oh God, what has Yui got herself into?" And then
I mean, let's be real for a second. How did Gendo pull as much as he did?
I, yeah, really like it'd be so interesting to see what Yui saw in him. I guess just that he was a genius, but I don't
Yeah.
know.
I never got that, by the way. The whole being it. I get that you don't want to be with an absolute dumbass, but you know how some people are attracted to intelligence?
Yeah, yeah.
That makes no sense to me.
No, I feel like it's all based on. Yeah, I feel like conversation is more
Nipple
important.
sizes. Oh,
Wait, what'd you say?
yeah.
Okay.
Nipple sizes.
Oh, see.
So
Anyways.
it's instrumentality slash final scene and
Maybe that's why they wanted instrumentality. Maybe like all of the Stele people had really weird nipples and they didn't want physical forms anymore.
and everyone's forced to accept them for their weird nipples.
That's yeah, true. But yeah, we get the backstory of like Gendo leading this operation to Antarctica, but he left before Third Impact happened, obviously, because Misato's the only one to survive. I think we see a little more here of like Misato, yeah, like not speaking for years afterwards. But then she like goes to college and has like a fairly normal college life, except you can tell that like her relationship with Kaji is like unhealthy for both of them, kind of, or at least she views it as unhealthy. You know?
Was it unhealthy though?
That's the thing. I don't totally know if it was because like she just
See,
viewed them like relying on each other as like a coping mechanism. Which I guess it
which I
kind
think
of is, but like
is
aren't all relationships kind of coping mechanisms?
yeah, I mean, okay, so yeah, that's the whole point. Like, not that it's dependency is different from being an emotional support. You know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah. Well, and I think it's like
And I think
obviously
she
like they
couldn't
say
even
you
tell the
do.
difference.
Yeah, like they say you don't want to be like totally codependent on your partner, but I think it's kind of a sign of a healthy relationship to like feel like you
It,
do need them to a degree.
like, like it's nice that they aren't someone that you always have to be okay in front of. You know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah. It's yeah, and like we said, people like everyone in Evangelion does not know how to have healthy relationships.
Except for Gendo, he's killing it.
He's he's definitely killing people to get his wife back.
Hell yeah, brother! And lots of copies of his wife.
True, that's true. There's all those Ray clones that blow up. Yeah, and again, I don't remember the exact order of the stuff. We also get the backstory of Ritsuko's mom, Dr. Akagi's mom, who was like in her same position. She built the three magi, the three like supercomputers that run Nerve and like seems like most things in Tokyo. Like remember they're basically the government.
Nerve is?
What?
Are you saying Nerve is the government? Because I
No,
thought it was
the
Sealy.
no, I was saying the Magi are basically the government. Because remember, like the Magi like give basically decisions for the government to make, and then like just a council is like, yeah, that sounds like a good idea, and they approve it.
Oh, yep, yep. I do remember that.
Yeah, yeah. And I think the Magi are like really interesting because like one that like a lot of Evangelion stuff, there's just Christian symbolism thrown in there to be like cool and creepy and stuff. So it's like the three wise men, obviously, but then
Yeah.
they're also based on like they it specifically said that when her mother engineered them, they're based on the three ways she saw herself. Basically, is her one is herself as a woman, one's herself as a mother, and one's herself as wait, what is the
As a
other one?
man.
Oh, as a scientist.
Oh. So, well, I just I don't know because when I heard that part of the show, I think I get it mixed up because I've also heard that like a way that some this is unrelated, but a way that some movies are made, you can tell when it's made for a man because it has lots of strong male characters, weak like quiet female characters, and when it's made for a woman, you don't see many male characters. You have one loud badass woman, and then when it's made for children, it's like something else. But anyways, yeah. So I got the three magi mixed up with that.
Gotcha. Yeah, no, I just think that's really interesting. And then when Ritsuko tries to like fry everything, I think she tries to like blow up Nerve or something. It doesn't
Yeah,
work because one of the Magi, her mother as a woman, betrays her because like she still loved Gendo, even
yeah, which
though
was crazy.
yeah, even though like we saw from Ray 1, Gendo didn't really care about her, and he never really cared about. And yeah, can we talk about again just how Gendo's such a creep that he first slept with Dr. Akagi Senior and like had a long. I guess it wasn't an affair because I don't think either of them were married. I guess she might have been. Um, but then yeah, Little Ray makes fun of her enough that she chokes Little Ray and then jumps off like that railing onto the three magi. Like her body outline is like traced on one of the supercomputers, which is so creepy.
I don't like that. And then, uh, like, what what would the act of I don't know how to put this for YouTube. The act of mating be with Gendo, right? He's literally on top of you, actively like thinking of Evangelion designs,
I
probably.
imagine he makes like zero noise and he never blinks.
Oh yeah,
And then yeah,
that's how it is.
like right after he starts like drawing pictures of Yui in his little sketchbook.
Yeah, like here laying there bent, and then he rolls over and starts drawing another woman.
Yeah.
True Chad behavior.
But
But
anyways, yeah. After she dies, then her or Ritsuko a plate replaces her mother in both the position at Nerve and as like the fuck buddy of Gendo.
so yeah, Gendo did the mom, the daughter.
Yeah. But anyways,
I
the
do
same thing
remember.
repeats itself. He basically says he has no use of her, and like he uses her as a pawn because like when Sele's mad at him for losing the lance, he basically sends her in his place. And there's like, because remember, there's that weird thing where like the Sele guys interview her like completely naked and then put her in a prison cell or something.
Yeah, what the hell, dude?
Yeah, it was just creepy. But she like realizes that she's meaningless to Gendo there, and she blows up the dummy plug system. She kills all the other rays.
Yeah, yeah, I do remember that episode. Because doesn't Ray like go swimming in a pool of her own body parts?
No, we just like see all the other rays blow up. But yeah, there's a weird thing where like we sometimes in like earlier episodes see Ray like naked in like a tube, and I think that's like a computer like scanning her and like putting her into the other rays. You know what I mean? Like it's
Like
like
her her memories and knowledge that she's gained.
Yeah, it's like backing her up. It's like when you plug in your phone to your MacBook and like back up your phone to iTunes. That's what I imagine they're doing,
And
but with little Ray memory.
that's why I was saying that I think that her emotional growth compounds.
Yeah, yeah.
But
Yeah,
anyways, so let's kind of get towards the wrap up here. The final scene, because we've talked plenty about instrumentality, but the
yeah,
final scene
and we'll
is
probably
like,
talk about it more in the end of Avaru. But yeah, the last two episodes after that Kaworu one, we don't see any more like things physically happening in the world, you know?
yeah, now it's all in Shinji's head. This is Shinji's version of instrumentality, basically, right?
Yep. And
And
there's like a lot of, I know a lot of it just comes off as psychobabble and stuff, but like some of the ideas they talk about I think are really interesting. Like I've always thought that idea of like the you that exists in your head versus other people's head is such an interesting idea, because like you know what like they're talking about there, where like when I think of who I am, I picture like certain characteristics about me, most of which are probably like only that I think of and never like are displayed outwardly. When you picture me, you have like a different image of me based on all of the actions you've seen me take in all of our conversations and stuff, you know?
yeah, I picture Shinji when I look at you.
I picture,
And I know you just as myself. We both picture a crusader with his foot on a heathen
of
and
course.
sword drawn pointed to the sky when you think of me.
I mean, yeah, sure. I picture,
Link.
yeah, I see that.
What?
Um, I don't know why, but I see you as Link. You like most of the sounds that come out of your mouth are just like weird noises, you know?
Yeah,
Bleh.
except his are like yeah, and then me, I'll just occasionally be sitting there and go. "Meh."
Yeah.
So yeah,
Um.
basically Link. But so yeah, that final scene, I like. Are we talking about the congratulations scene or like all of his weird little brain stuff that happened?
Yeah. I mean, we can't go over everything, but there's just like it's basically all just Shinji like thinking about himself and like having the other characters like not reprimand him, but like interrogate him basically and ask him why he is the way he is and why he feels the way he does. And it's interesting because he basically says he hates everyone, and like I think to a degree he like believes it, you know? Like obviously he does really care about them, but I think like his fear for dealing with them kind of makes him hate them on some level.
It's more of the hedgehog thing, really, right? Because he cares about them, but he's scared to get close to them.
Because he's super scared they're gonna turn on him, hurt him. Like like we can presume his father did, 'cause, like I'm sure he was never a great father, but like
I don't think they were ever close. That's a bad example.
I feel like he probably at least like feigned love for him back when Yui was alive, though. You know?
Gendo, to me, like from what we know because of this, he just seems like the kind of guy who does everything that he does just to get laid. Like he seems like the kind of guy who would pretend to be a good dad just to get laid.
But specifically his wife. Like I don't think I bet he did not like derive much, if any, pleasure with either of the Akagis, you know? Like I feel like he did that just to like gain
Oh,
their trust even more.
now we're crossing animes, dude. The Hokage is Naruto.
Whoa, crazy.
Bet you, bet you didn't see that far into the show yet, did you?
Into Naruto.
Yeah.
You got me. Actually,
But oh, what were you saying?
no,
Actually,
no, I was just gonna say I haven't watched Naruto, but I read the manga, so I know the Naruto lore.
dang, knows the name of his shurikens. Oh, I have a paper cut and I don't know how. But so this final scene, let's talk about that, right? Because he gets essentially interrogated by the other characters. They're all asking him like really mean questions, right? If you think about it.
Yeah,
You don't
yeah,
even you
but I
don't even have
mean,
to think about it. They're just mean questions.
but like he does realize a lot from them because he basically realizes the reason he feels like he hates other people is because deep down he hates himself, and he and like the other people talking to him in instrumentality or in his head or whatever
Yeah.
agree that he can't love anyone else until he loves himself. And he's not like all of a sudden, oh, I love myself, but he's like, I hate myself, but maybe I can try to love myself. And that's when like the whole creepy dark world he's in breaks. He's on like this little globe and like everyone he's ever known is around him. And
And
you
they're
want,
all saying congratulations,
yeah,
Shinji, or as I have written, congratulations, Shinji.
Shinji. I'm
Wait,
just, I'm
I
picturing like
mistyped.
a Chad Shinji with like a big jutting chin, you know?
Oh my gosh. I was picturing like a fatter guy. He's just kind of sitting there and it's like that is Shinji.
But yeah, like everyone congratulates him for like growing and presumably learning to love himself, including like those random nerve employees, his friends from school, the penguin,
Yeah,
and his mom. Like his mom was there too, so that's
so here's two things that I thought of that scene, and especially the like how he can't love others until he loves himself. I think that's true because if he did let himself love others without loving himself, right? To some extent, it's a distraction, and he would only be happy when he was doing things for them and never when he's by himself.
well, I think it would be
But
kind
then,
of fake to a degree, because like
yeah, yeah,
yeah,
because it makes you feel good
yeah, but
to
like
make someone else happy despite not loving yourself.
it's and that's
Um,
basically what he was doing before is like working not because he like really loved them but because he wants to like earn their respect because that makes him feel slightly better about himself in some way.
so he was kind of doing the fake love thing, anyways. But
Yeah, I think it's
then,
I think it's less that he loved them and it's more that he wanted them to love him because he couldn't love him.
yeah, and then on the other side of that, I think the reason why he hated them wasn't because he actually hated them. And so I disagree with the fact that, or not even the fact, just the idea that he saw himself in them and that's why he hated them. I think he hated them so that he didn't have to think about how much he hated himself. You know what I mean? You ever heard or seen where like angry people are only like outwardly angry people are only like that because they're actually angry with themselves?
Yeah, yeah, I see that. That makes a lot of sense.
Yeah, it's like Connor after we play Smash Bros.
Damn. Damn, I feel so bad. You know, Connor hasn't. Well, I guess for viewers, Connor has been on like just a couple weeks ago or like a month or two ago because like we had a backlog. But like in the time I've recorded, like every guest I've brought on just shits on Connor.
No,
Like
no.
like in the first video I filmed with Kuz, he just talked about how Connor's like short and he doesn't have a girlfriend.
He's so badass. His girlfriend left him.
Oh, okay, that's just rude.
You didn't like that meme?
Not on the internet.
He's so badass. His girlfriend knew she wasn't worthy. There. Uh. So yeah, that's my idea on the whole. Congratulations is he was just projecting, right?
It's because it's not like actually other people congratulating him. It's like him giving himself some semblance of joy or like it's he could only do it by viewing it through other people, but it was kind of like the beginning of appreciating himself outside of other people's approval in a
which
way.
which it's so frustrating we can't get into the movie because I'm kind of pissed at him for suddenly being all happy with himself, you know?
Because it's such a dramatic shift right at the end. Because then he's like all smiling and kissing his stuff.
No, I'm mad. I'm upset because he's kind of a garbage person. And then suddenly he's like, while everyone else is, without giving away anything from the movie, while everyone else is finding out about this garbage thing that he did, he's out here like patting himself on the back, like, yeah, I'm gonna love myself.
It's Yeah, it's a very interesting conclusion. Can you I like these last two episodes. I know they're really weird, but I like to a degree enjoy them. I think they give us some interesting perspective on Shinji and how he feels and stuff. Um, but can you imagine finishing this and the movie, the end of Evangelion, doesn't come out for like full year?
Is that what happened to you?
No, no. This happened like in the 90s, before I was born,
Oh, yeah,
but yeah, like the show ended in '96 and the movie didn't release till '97.
yeah. So for those of you watching, right? So basically, you see this kind of normal progression of an anime, like you're fighting monsters. That's cool. That's cool. That's cool. Then you find out about this big finale, instrumentality, where all minds become one, and the ending they give you is just Shinji deciding to love himself.
Yeah, it's like it's in a way it's an emotional conclusion to Shinji's character, but not to anyone else's or to the
Yeah,
world as a whole.
it doesn't wrap up what happens to the world. It doesn't wrap up any of the other characters, which, spoiler alert, they do great about that in the movie, tying everything up. But also, it's such a weird way to, this show where you see all these epic battles and then you see this like really hard emotional stuff towards the end, and then it ends with literally, not even joking, sunshine and rainbows with everyone dancing around the earth. What is that?
It's it's crazy. I but like again, I think the director Anno, I think, was going through a lot when he wrote the latter half of the series, and
I mean,
so
evidently.
and I think he just put his like emotions and thoughts and feelings onto the screen.
So how bad do you think it must have felt when his final feeling was, "I'm gonna love myself," and everyone said, "We hate you."
Yeah.
Put something better out now.
Yeah. Probably was not fun, but then hey, the movie did super well and is like one of the most famous anime movies ever. So we will
So
be
that's
back to talk about that in the future.
yeah. So that's the lesson. Anytime you're upset about something, whether it be a Starbucks coffee, a book that you read, yell at the person who made it, and they'll make you a better one.
And they're forced to make something better. Yeah.
They have to,
The law.
especially if their mom just died.
Exactly. Exactly. Um so yeah, what any final thoughts? I know you like I've been with you for most of your like anime watching experience, and obviously we've watched some like other like goofy lol so random shows like Mysterious Girlfriend X or High School DxD, but I feel like this is weirder and deeper and like more out there than any of that. So like what did you think of it?
Like, I know when we started this, I said I hated it, and to some extent that's true. But it's weird because it's one of the first animes that's ever made me like think about it. You know how most animes you kind of shut off your brain and you just watch it,
Yeah, a lot
and
of it's like popcorn.
and I love that. But this show made you uncomfortable, and it made you really think. And this is definitely not an anime for a first time anime watcher.
Oh, no way.
Absolutely not. It'll turn you off immediately. Watch this later, but it is really good.
I'm really glad you enjoyed it because like I was not really sure if you would because yeah like you know you know I like weird goofy shows too, but like when your favorite shows or like when anyone's favorite shows are like Akame ga Kill and High School DxD, jumping to
I hate
Evangelion
it.
is like a big jump.
Stop, dude. Akame got kills awesome because Akame is flaming.
But yeah, it's just I'm really glad you enjoyed it because I don't know. I'm tempted to try and get Connor to watch it. I don't know if he'll like be willing to like endure through the stuff like you did, you know?
Yeah, I feel like a lot of our other friends are gonna get bored in the early stuff, and even if they don't in the end stuff, they might kind of just be like, dude, what the fuck is this?
Yeah, but you really yeah, you have to take your time with it. You have to like not just because like it is easy to write stuff off in this. It's easy to say like, oh, the director was just like a weirdo and he just put weird stuff on the screen. But then like sit down when you think about it, when you digest it, when you read other people's thoughts on it, everything has like a meaning and like there's a lot there, you know?
Will you before we end, like when you're editing this, will you put a wonderful picture of the Queen, General Esdeath, on the screen?
Dude, I hate editing, but sure.
Yes.
Yeah, I'll put it up
Yes.
at here's what I'll do. I always do like an end card that says like thanks for watching, and the end card will be like a big like graphic wallpaper of
It'll
Esdeath.
be her blowing a kiss and saying thanks for watching.
I don't know if I can find a picture of her blowing a kiss, but I'll
You can
try.
find a picture.
But yeah, I will do that for you. So thank you everyone for watching. Please like and comment and tell us what you want to review next. Tell us if you like Galen or hate him and we should like ban him from the channel. Tell us if you hate like Kuz and you want us to replace him with Galen or Connor or Morris. You know, like I just I should also say I drew a icon for the channel since the last video, and so that's up. So like we don't
Send
just
that to me.
have oh yeah, well we don't just have like a logo for or we don't just have like letters for our icon anymore. It's like a picture, and I'm pretty happy with how it turned out. So yeah, just as always, tell us what other series you want to see, what you would like us to cover. But thank you for watching, and stay tuned for the next video, which probably will be the end of Evangelion review. Anything? Any last words, Game?
No? Just thanks for having me.
Yeah, yeah. Thank you for being on. This is a fun conversation. But more than that, thank you all for watching.
目と目で通じ合う二人だ